Alrighty guys, welcome back to another LEGO set review from BrickByBrick. Today we have set number 70923, the Bat Space Shuttle, as in a shuttle that travels through bat space, not a space shuttle that's Batman themed. And this set contains 643 pieces, retails for a total of $79.99, and was released as part of the final wave of LEGO Batman movie sets in January of 2018. This set contains 6 figures, of which 3 are exclusive to this set. Overall, it focuses on creating a little portion of the Batcave, right? But, it's named for the one large Bat vehicle that, it does include. And this is the first thing that you build within the set, so we're going to take a look at it first. This thing, once stood up, is pretty tall. I mean, if you just compare it to the size of a figure right at the base, it's sizable. Is it probably about the same size as many of the city space shuttles that they've done, and it does have the 3 boosters here, which are typical of space shuttles. I think the biggest difference between this and normal city space shuttles is just the color scheme. Because obviously this is black, most of them tend to be white. But, for what it is, I think the shaping is pretty good. This whole booster engine system is, removable like a normal space shuttle would be, so they did get that functionality in there pretty well. You can remove the spaceship top, and you'll have these engines, actually I think that's backwards order of how it's really done. And I think this is how spaceships work. So, it would be flying through space, and then it would jettison the 2 side engines, so those would fall. And then this would keep going until this one's empty, and then that would fall as well. And then you'd be left with the spaceship, or the space shuttle part itself. This uses these 2 cement mixture parts, which are kind of cool and relatively uncommon pieces, so cool to get here. They're larger, and I think that's part of why the price per piece is inflated a little. It tends to be with space shuttle sets, just because that's how space shuttle sets tend to work. They tend to be a little bit more expensive than 10 cents per piece. You do have the Batman logos stickered onto the 2 side engine pods, but these are relatively sizable for the number of parts, so, and the whole ability to remove it from the space shuttle does add some play value. Also, you'll notice it does have these yellow Technic part, or trans-orange Technic parts on the engines to make it look like it's actually producing engine boost. And here is the space shuttle itself. Without those engines. It does have one engine of its own here with a translucent orange disc to allow you to propel yourself through space. I like the use of the barrel in gunmetal gray. It's also used on the Saturn V in that color. It's labeled exhaust, which I believe there's a similar sticker to that on the Ultimate Batmobile that also says exhaust. I could be wrong though. But you've got some of those typical Batman stickers from the LEGO Batman movie. It's kind of the same style of design, which makes sense. And you do have 2 additional stickers on this front piece that say Bat Shuttle, but this Bat logo at the front is printed on there. It's not a sticker, so, and that little bit of gray. It's just the 2 areas that say Bat Shuttle. And you do have stud shooters on the wings, so if you run into some bad guys in space, you can just shoot them. So, it's a little bit of extra play value, I guess, but there's no one really to shoot at, because I don't think you're going to shoot at the one bad guy included in the set, Catwoman, with stud shooters while this is facing upwards in the Batcave. I don't know. But it's nice that it's there, so that you can very easily take this into a different setting. I like the use of the bat wings angled up here, and the overall, aerial view shape of this Bat Space Shuttle, which is how you're going to see it most of the time, because most of the time it'll be standing like this. I like the profile that they have going for the wings with the different angles of wedge slopes, or wedge plates. And you can open this up to remove a little bat rover, which is cute, you know, small. And you've got this, I think I built that wrong, actually. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to go like that. That would make more sense, right? No, I didn't build that wrong. So you could change it like that if you wanted it to make more sense, but I guess it is supposed to drive like that. Okay, I guess that does make sense, but I thought the bat logo would be facing the front. But we're just gonna, realistically, would use the spacesuit Batman on here. But you just drive it around like this. Bat logo sticker is cool. And you do have a little light up here at the front, I guess. And I just thought that this satellite dish would be on the back. But that can be angled up, and, you know, it'll be used to communicate with Earth. But in order to fit it back inside, you do have to fold it up. And I like that feature. It's cool. Good use of space here. And adds a little bit of play value to the actual ship. It just fits right inside. And up front, you can remove the canopy piece to give you access to a little seating area for a pilot of the Bat Space Shuttle. You do have a stickered control panel as well as some levers that you can use. You can put them in your figure's hands, basically. And this does seat one figure comfortably. I believe it will fit a cape, preferably one of the softer capes, so it doesn't get crinkled up. But I think you'd be able to squeeze in one of the harder ones that just might crease a little. And you can fit a figure in just fine, and you'll be able to see them through the front window pretty well. So, you know, it's a good system here for what it is. On the bottom, nothing super special, but it does use these. These are Technic beams that have a ball joint at one end. I don't think I've ever seen that part before. I don't think it's the same one that they use for Mater from Cars 2 sets. I'm pretty sure that this one's different, because I'm pretty sure that one had, like, it turned the... Anyway, you know, it's hard to describe in words. But I think that for what this set is, I think it does a... Or for what this thing is, I think it does a reasonable job of creating a space shuttle with some good playability and Batman color scheme. And here is just a really, really simple build that's simultaneously really, really cool. This is the Bat Kayak. It's a very goofy vehicle. It's shown for, you know, seconds in the movie. Just like during the "Don't Touch That" sequence. You know, it's barely there, but it's a funny vehicle to exist. I don't think it exists in the comics or anything either. I don't think it takes inspiration from anything. I think it's just a Bat Kayak. Just making fun of the fact that Batman has a vehicle for everything. But for what it is, I think it's good. I like the use of the bat wings to kind of make it actually a Bat Kayak, you know, and not just a black kayak. You know, kind of gives it a Batman feel. But the color of kayak, I believe, is still exclusive to this set. It was brand new when it first came out, so, you know, it's cool to get a new color of kayak piece. That's pretty much all there is to this. It's a good inclusion, I think, for, you know, a set that is based on a just wacky vehicle already, so I'm happy with it. But of all the stuff to come in the set, this is what I was most excited for. This is a little bit of a section of the Batcave. It actually does show you in the instructions that you can connect it to the full Lego Batman Movie Batcave set, which I'll do eventually once I've actually built the other one. I've had that for a couple months now, and I've just never got around to building it. This one I built pretty quickly after I got it, though. Because, you know, it is a smaller set, and I have a decent amount of space to display this. The Batcave is just a little bit too big for the area that I currently have. But over here, this area is kind of empty at the moment. You can just stick the kayak right on here. That's a little stand for it, and it'll turn around. So, you know, you can angle it. On the box, they almost show imagining that this in front is water and just leaving the kayak there, which I think works almost better than this little stand. But I'm glad that they did include this stand. So, you know, technically, there's an official place for it, and also with this stand, it allows the kayak to actually be attached by studs. So, you know, if you want to be able to pick up this whole thing and move it. On that note, it is a little bit like kind of feels a little bit fragile and kind of bare bones. It's very thin. It's basically just a platform, really. So, you know, there's that. It doesn't feel like a super complete Batcave, so it's a good thing that it isn't supposed to be, and that you can connect it to the rest of the Batcave. It does get a little bit of height here with this one little light post, and I like that they carry over the dark tan color scheme of the rocks from the regular Batcave, so that, you know, it will blend in if you have both of the two sets. The highlight here, though, is the the suit changing feature. You do have a couple of stickers over here for a console. One shows the Reggae Man suit, and then one shows just, you know, a suit changing interface, I would say. And there is a little Catwoman, so maybe they're studying Catwoman or something, trying to figure out which suit is best to use against Catwoman. I don't know, something like that. But you'd have a button here. Oops, I just ruined the focus. But you have a button here, and it doesn't actually do anything because it's just a tile, obviously. And you have a selection of weapons. I like how they built the little batarang holder. It's actually angled backwards a little, which I think is kind of cool. Little clever technique to just change up the display a little bit. You do have a grappling gun base, as well as the actual grappling hook part itself, and a couple harpoons. And the actual suit changer thing is basically, I would imagine that right here is where it's supposed to be the suit that you're able to take out. So you'd have that, and then that, and then that. I don't know. It really just slides suits back and forth. It's like there's no clear place. It would be like, oh, this is where you grab the suit from. I don't know. They just slide back and forth, and that's just about all they do. They look cool like this, but the sliding feature is very unnecessary, I think. And I would prefer to have just filled this whole area with these little black bar pieces, just so you could add in 2 more suits maybe. I think there's enough space for 2 more. But I don't know. It just doesn't make a ton of sense to me the way it currently is. Maybe that's just me, but, you know. The final area here is this section, which is basically just a platform currently, nothing there. And the point of that section, it has a very important job. It's supposed to look like a way that you can walk towards the Bat Space Shuttle. The Bat Space Shuttle does not connect to it at all. It's literally just placed there, which, I don't know, feels a little bit cheap to me. Like, I mean, it's nice that there's a way to kind of place the Bat Space Shuttle so it looks really good and integrates in decently, but I feel like there should be some way to attach it. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. It just feels kind of forced. It feels like it would have looked just as good if you were to just put the Bat Kayak here and just have a random Bat Space Shuttle sitting next to it. Also, I broke the Bat Space Shuttle, but that's fine. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that. And the last thing to mention is that this over here, this section, is where you would be able to attach it to the regular Batcave. This would attach onto the very far right side of the Batcave. So, you know. But this set does have 6 figures. We'll take a look at those. So, first up for figures here, we have the only 2 figures in the set that are not Batman. And those are Catwoman and Dick Grayson / Robin, but not in his Robin costume. The Catwoman figure also appeared in the one of the smallest LEGO Batman movie sets, the Catwoman Catcycle Chase, a $20 set, which was clearanced a lot, so she's a relatively cheap figure at this point. But I do like the purple color scheme for her, and the arm printing on there is really well done. I like that. It has a good kind of touch to it. Purple belt, also nice. And there's some good silver to the printing on her torso. Robin is actually very, very similar to the collectible minifigures version of Dick Grayson. And I like the Robins on his sweater, but that torso is identical. So, you know, you can get it cheaper elsewhere, basically. The legs for Dick Grayson are also the same. Also, there's a look at the legs on Catwoman. The glasses are actually the same as well. You know, just facing forward, straight eyes. There are several variants of the Robin ones, but there's only one for Dick Grayson. They always look straight forward. There's a look at the face on Catwoman. I like the silver rim printing on her mask as well. That's another little thing to point out. And the eyes do line up well. You can also turn her head around, and then she has an angry expression, and the eyes still line up. So, you know, there's that. Robin has a standard Robin facial print, so it is different than the collector minifigures version, but only because it uses a more common face. So, you know, this Robin figure is not super special. It's still nice to get, especially if you didn't get the original Like a Batman movie series figures, or maybe you just didn't find a Dick Grayson. But, you know, it's just, this one isn't particularly special. Speaking of not particularly special, here's Batman. It's your standard Lego Batman movie Batman with the standard torso and standard back printing on the torso. And he does have facial expressions, and there are these facial expressions, which, you know, appear in several sets as well, so he's just not special. The last three figures are all just Batsuit variants, which, you know, are pretty cool. And I'd be lying if I said that they weren't the main reason I wanted to get this set. Because, yeah, I've enjoyed collecting all of these little Lego Batman movie bat costumes. These two are both decent variants. The one on the left here is the Firestarter Bat Suit. It's relatively plain as far as these bat suits go. Interesting, it does have a printed on belt versus the bat spacesuit, which has molded like a Batman movie variant of the belt. Maybe it's because this is in like an orangey color and they didn't want to create a new color, or maybe it's just because they felt like going for that style of printed belt. Regardless, it does look good, and I like the emblem on the torso, you know, all flaming. Both of these figures have just plain white heads on underneath, so, you know. And so is a third bat suit. I may not even bother taking that off. This is a new color for his mask, in dark red, which is good to get. And I believe that this cape only comes on this figure in this color, in this cut. So, you know, there's that. It is an older style cape, so it is a little bit harder to see, but on the back he does just have the muscle printing and the belt continued. So, you know, it's decently well done. There is no leg printing for him, though. On the other hand, the Bat spacesuit has some really good printing throughout the torso and all the way onto the back of the torso. Some more, you know, good printing. I like the metallic design to it. I think this would almost look good if you just put on the gas mask from the Scarecrow Harvest of Fear set from a couple years ago and a regular cowl. I think that would look nice. And I am going to take the belt off of him really quickly, just so you can see the hip printing on this guy, which is pretty well done, I think. And, you know, I'm happy with the way that this suit turned out. I was actually looking forward to this one the least of the three, but, no, I think I'm kind of liking it better than the Firestarter Batman. He does have the standard city astronaut helmet in black with the gold visor, so, you know, it's not a Batman cowl, but you can still tell it's supposed to be Batman, mainly thanks to the belt, to be honest, and the fact that this is a Batman movie set. But of all the figures in the set, I think that this one is probably the most exciting to many people. This is the Reggae Man Bat Suit, and in the movie, they basically play off this joke that Robin is just trying on a bunch of suits, and he settles on this one, and he rips off the pants because, you know, he doesn't want to wear pants, I guess. So, you know, you have the pants, which are printed around the sides, and the legs are dual molded, like Robin's, just in different colors, obviously, because it's green and red. Oh, wait, are they not dual molded? No, yeah, they are. Okay. For a second, I looked under there, and I was like, oh, wait, I don't see green. But I'm just blind, don't worry. And the boots are printed on the front as well, with the vertical yellow stripes. Looks good, I think. The torso is good. You know, it looks like Robin's torso. It's just not buttoned up. I believe on the Lego Batman movie Robin variant, the neck doesn't go down that far and is actually buttoned up properly. But maybe I'm wrong. He wears the same cape as Robin, obviously, and I believe the back printing is exactly the same as the Robin figure. The arms are dual molded white and green because, you know, nobody's wearing them, and it is just short sleeves. I believe that, you know, you should be able to just switch Robin's arms onto this torso if you really wanted to make Batman wear this, and I think that would look fine. You'll notice there's a little bit of white printing in the center here, but, you know, I feel like it's close enough to tan that it would pass, especially if we are going to say that Misako from Lady Iron Dragon from the Lego Ninjago movies, yellow skin tone counts as yellow. I'm pretty sure that can count as flesh. But the highlight of this figure, I think, is that really, really crazy cowl mold. It has the like the hair going around the sides, the big giant hat which is printed on there. Basically looking like a Jamaican, or it's got a Jamaican style to it, I guess, which is where they drew this suit from. I am going to note that on my copy of this figure, if you look at the green, it does kind of creep up onto the yellow and down onto the gold section just a little bit. So it's not the highest quality, but I do think that, you know, for such a one-off crazy mold, it's impressive that they went this far with it. They could have just included a gold Batman cowl, and, you know, it would have been okay, but I'm glad that they did go for the full accuracy here. This issue is not consistent with every single copy of this figure. I think it'll vary from each one to the next, but I am really happy with the way that this figure turned out, and, you know, I'm very happy to add it to my collection. So overall, I think that this set has a lot of individual things that work, but they don't really all work together, to be honest. It's kind of like they took a bunch of random scrapped concept designs from other sets and decided, oh, we have enough stuff here, let's just throw it all into one. And, you know, I don't know exactly how I feel about that. I mean, I'm very happy to have gotten these 3 bat suits. And, I don't know, maybe the only other way that we would have gotten them would have been some sort of other promotional set. Maybe if they were going to do a 2018 Bricktober set for Lego Batman movie, they would have done these 3 and maybe one other. But they decided, nah, that's not a good idea. We should only release 1 year of them or something. I don't know. But, you know, it's very good that they were going to include them here. Also, they wouldn't have done that because new old. But, you know, I'm just making stuff up. But it's, I don't know. It's very strange. This feels like it's a scrapped design. Like this section here feels like it's a scrapped design from the Batcave set, and they decided to go with the rotating thing instead, which I think is a more sensible function than this sliding back and forth. Doesn't make too much sense to me, and I don't know. It looks alright on display, and I like it. I think it looks better on display than the suit changer, at least. But, no, it just does not make any sense for play. The space shuttle here, you know, it's fine for what it is. I probably would not have bought this space shuttle by itself, so I think it needed this other random stuff. But I don't know if the random stuff needed the space shuttle. You know, I don't know. It feels very random to me. And it doesn't feel like it deserves to be the namesake of the set. Like, I don't know. Maybe this would have been better if this was all included in the one larger Batcave set. They could make it a $160 set or something. But I don't know. Buying this and that one separately for like $180 total. I don't know. It feels this here for $80 does not feel like it's worth $80. $60 maybe is what I would pay. Obviously, I'm happy that we've gotten this random weird stuff, like the kayak and those suits. And I have mixed feelings about the space shuttle. Like, I like the way it looks built, and it was kind of fun to build, but I don't know why I need it. And I don't know. It may or may not be disassembled eventually, is what I'm getting at. But then this area of this build feels incomplete because there's nothing to go there. I don't know. It feels like this is a hodgepodge of random stuff thrown together. Catwoman is not a necessary inclusion at all. She has no place in this scene. Maybe an Alfred would have been cool to get here. But I'm happy to get Catwoman because I didn't have her in the other set. You know, I don't know how I feel about this set. And that's pretty much the best I can do for explanation here. I'm happy to have gotten it. I would not have paid $80 for it. If you missed my haul video, I did get this on clearance at Walmart, and I'll leave a link to that so you can figure out how much I paid. Hint, it was less than $20, which is a very large discount. But, yeah, so, still very undecided about this set. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you like it? Do you think it's weird like I do? That's going to end the video here before I ramble, trying to decide for like 40 years how I feel about this. I think bottom line is some of the stuff inside is cool, and if you want that stuff, go for it. If you don't want that stuff, or you don't feel like $80 is worth it, which I personally don't, I would not recommend this at full price. That's the most concise I can make my review. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Kind of long and rambly. But if you did, let me know in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys all next time. Bye, everyone.